Welcome, one and all, to another episode of The Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Dave.
We're here on another Sunday night. Hopefully everyone's had a really, really good weekend. We're going to talk about the latest from, what do we got here tonight? We have Sepultura, Blacktop Mojo, and the Ugly Kings. We'll have a bit of a chat very shortly about the Bendigo Hotel and other things as well. Make sure whenever you're tuning in at any point, then give us your thoughts, feedback, whatever else in the comments as we go along. Feel free to say hi and all the usual stuff as well. And while you're there, please check out our fantastic sponsors in Squitting, Scrutiny, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. You can find their details just like ours in the links, which are in the post or the description, wherever you're tuning into this one, whether it's live now or later on. All the details you need to follow us and to follow our sponsors are right there for your benefit. So like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, all those things. They all help us get the word out about these little live streams we're doing. So please do that whenever you feel ready, willing, and able. Got some regulars coming in already, which is good to see. So Nudes, our good friend Nudes has jumped in to say hi, lads. So hey, good to see you here. Also, Dean, he's here. So, hey, Andrew and Dave, hope you both had a great weekend. I think we'll get into that in just a second, but all very well here. But here we go, Dave. Here's one for you. Nice shirt. So,
I love the shirt.
You can't see mine quite as well, but it's Warbird. So there you go for those paying attention. Yes, all good. All right, well, on that, before we get stuck into things, how are you going, Dave? You've been, what, was it last week that you were last on?
I think I missed the last Thursday and the last Sunday, so it's been over a week. So, yeah, been keeping busy. I'm on reduced hours at work, so had 5 days off, back tomorrow for a couple of days, then probably same thing because I think lockdown's going to be a fact of life for the next few weeks at least, so just have to roll the punches, do the best we can. I got my second jab last weekend.
Oh, cool. So you're all 5G fixed up?
Yep, all good. Reception's fantastic. I can't complain there. Slowly mutating inside. I can feel my cells transforming into some type of Stephen King horror movie. It's going to be great when it's all done. And Julia got hers done yesterday, so together we might become one Uber being. You know, has made us so good. But yeah, apart from that, been hoping the kids with their home learning in between watching YouTube videos on guitar playing and just digging around, going through old hard drives of old videos of the kids when they were babies and put them onto DVDs.
Oh, nice.
Watching family movies with everyone. Just kids are seeing themselves as little kids, little babies.
That's cool.
Apart from that, I had a barbecue yesterday, just hung out outside, nice weather. So just trying to stay positive and making the most of the time.
Yep.
Apart from that, listening to music, drinking beer, and watching wrestling. Watched some wrestling this afternoon, actually, with my daughter. She's becoming a big Shawn Michaels fan, so I went through some of my Shawn Michaels DVDs and showed her the Bret Hart Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels a couple of months ago. Now we watched the ladder match from WrestleMania 10 with Razor Ramon. And no holds barred match with Diesel a month after WrestleMania. We saw him on the belt. That was brutal. I mean, people didn't go through tables all that often then, and then just turns around, power bombs him through it. That was cool. And the Hell in the Cell, the first one where Kane shows up and rips the door off.
Yep.
I think that's the first match she's really seen with a lot of blood. Shawn was busted open, but that was a great match.
Okay.
But yeah, she's enjoying it. Great daddy-daughter bonding. It's all good. How you been, man?
Cool. Yeah, good. The AFL season is nearly over for Collingwood, so that's just, almost done. Got one more game to go after got poleaxed last night. But on the flip side, the NFL season is kicked off today with the preseason games just started off. So I sat down and watched the Chiefs play their first game for the year this morning and came away with a win. So it's like, okay, cool. One season ends, and one's kicking over. So that's the side entertainment for me. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of wrestling. I was going to just put the sports on my old phone, just by the little screen just in front of my monitor while I'm editing and doing notes and stuff. So it's just there in the background. But around that, I'm one of the lucky ones. I've said a few times now, I'm able to keep working and doing all the things that we normally do. So myself and Jody, there's no real serious change for us. We work, we come home, and that's ultimately it. The hard part for us is not being able to see family. But we all do Zoom and weekly catch-ups and stuff. So we do what we can in that regard to stay in touch. And whenever we do have the ability, we'll make sure we go and catch up face-to-face when we can. But all in all, I mean, you get used to it after a while. So I think we're pretty settled into it all now. I've also made the comment about being veterans of this stuff. So we just sort of keep on keeping on. And there's not much else you can do, really. So just soldier on and get on with it. And hopefully we'll all get out of this sooner rather than later. But it's out of our hands. So you control what you can control, and don't stress about the rest as much as you can avoid doing so. But no, all in all, good. Just keep on doing what we're doing. Nothing really changes at the moment, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So it is what it is in that regard.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm a lot happier this year than last year, if that makes any sense. And Jody is too, which makes it easier as well. So
I get that too. Yeah.
So home life's a bit easier. So working out all right. So question from Dean, since you weren't here last time we chatted about it, how do you honestly feel about the new single from Gunners since it's released, Dave?
I like it. I mean, it's not the best thing they've ever done. It's not Welcome to the Jungle or You Could Be Mine or anything, but 3.5 minutes of immature fun. I mean, it's I've heard the demo from 2000 that got released a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure they just took the vocal track from that. I mean, they've added a lot more effects to it, but the phrasing is pretty much spot on, so it's the same old track. I am disappointed with the excessive amount of effects on the vocals. Apart from that, it's a pretty cool song. I do prefer it live, though. The videos I've seen on YouTube of recent performances, it's a fun song live. Just the studio version has a bit too much shit on it. But yeah, not the best thing they've done, not the worst. I'm just excited they're releasing new stuff. So there's something in the works, I reckon.
There'd have to be. And that might not even be an album track because the way it feels when you listen to it, it doesn't feel like it's I don't know. It feels like an end of album track, or maybe the mid album sort of side A to side B kind of thing. It doesn't feel like if that's a deliberate single, that's a weird choice because it is a pretty disjointed song in the way that one's presented on streaming and that. I haven't seen any of the videos you have, but just listening to it.
Yeah, they probably just dicked around with old stuff that he had floating around during lockdown last year. Just sent a few tracks around. Slash and Dubs just put their own spin on it. They thought, okay, this is cool. Just test the waters with that. I hope they do Hard School. I'd love to hear that song properly released because that demo that's been floating around, that's fucking cool. They have been rehearsing that too, so that might turn up in a live performance very soon because there's been some leaked footage from rehearsals of just someone from the side of the stage, not even seeing the band, but they've definitely been playing.
Okay, cool. All right, interesting. Got a few more questions coming through on the Guns N' Roses stuff, but before we do, Jeff, our good friend Jeff, highlights. Hope you're all well. So doing very well. Good to see you here with us tonight. But also following on, Dean also asked, since the release of the single, do you think they'll release an album? I think we did talk about this previously. I think they will in the future. I don't know. Like expectations are relatively low, if that makes sense, but that's not a bad thing either. But I do think they will release something in the future, even if it's just something that's cobbled together and they call it not a full-blown studio album kind of thing, but it just might be the brushed up demos for whatever.
There'll be more to come, pretty sure.
Yeah. They've got plenty of stuff in the vault from what you're telling me anyway. There's heaps of stuff they haven't released yet. So
that's just the stuff that's been leaked. I mean, back before Slash and Duff left the band in their respective different years back in the 90s, they're probably working on stuff from then. So they could always dig that shit up as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, they will release something. There's probably too much money in it now not to that they're all getting along. They'll release something, even if it's, it'll be one of those things where I'm pretty sure we'll get something at some point. Another question from Ben. Thanks for joining us, Ben, tonight. Did any of you see Guns at Calder? Now, I didn't see them. I don't think you did either, Dave, did you?
No.
Jimmy
did. Man.
He was there for sure. Yeah.
I really wanted to go to that show. My friend was going to go, but he ended up getting appendicitis.
So
he couldn't go either. Yeah, but he ended up going to Metallica later on then. Fuck, I wanted to go to Calder Park. I remember the news. It was on every news station. It was on every radio station. Just the biggest thing. Guns N' Roses were in Melbourne. Like, God damn, I was like the biggest Guns N' Roses fan, like 12 years old. I couldn't fucking go.
Yeah. No, it would have been good to go, but I wasn't really following the rock and metal stuff too heavily back then. I was still very much into the classical side of music back when I was a kid. But no, I would have loved to have gone to that one because the news reports that kicked out afterward were mind-numbing, like mind-blowing, I should say. That was just like, what the fuck did they do? And you couldn't not see it. So no, it would have been. It's one of those ones for the ages. Everyone that went there has nothing but amazing memories of it. So it would have been good to have gone, but unfortunately, wasn't to be. Hopefully, it won't happen this year. I don't think if you're still banking on them coming this year, just forget it. But hopefully in the next few years, we'll get them to come out here and we'll all go and make a new memory. And hopefully there'll be more.
I saw them last time when they came over on Valentine's Day. I brought Julia with me. If she wanted to see me on Valentine's Day, she had to come.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, because before we were married, we were still dating. She's like, if they ever get back together, I'll come with you. Okay, we'll just go. She was not expecting it to ever happen, and it happened.
Oh wow! So what did she think of it when she did go?
No, she did enjoy it. She does like them. She's not obsessed like I am, but
no,
it was a damn.
I don't think many people are, Dave.
There's a few people like me, I'm sure. Actually, no, there's nobody like me. No, take that
back. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to something a bit more serious, so we can keep things moving along tonight. The little hot topic we're going to get into. How's the internet working for you, Dave? Is it working okay at the moment, or is there a bit of a lag kicking in for you?
So far, so good.
Cool. Might just be my end. All right, we'll see what happens. But anyway, in the description and in the comments now, wherever you're tuning in from, we're going to share a link to the Bendigo Hotel. They've launched a GoFundMe campaign. So if you can't find it in the links or the description or whatever else, or the comments, literally look for Bendy-Go Fund Me, and you'll find it pretty quick. Otherwise, follow the Bendigo Hotel on any of their social media platforms, and you'll see it linked there as well. The reason for this is because of everything going on, another lockdown has rolled through. Most venues in some way, shape, or form have tried to survive as best they can. You got Cherry Bar doing deliveries, and a whole lot of love have had some different things going on inside of their bar as well. And now the Bendigo Hotel have tried as long as they could to hold off, but now the money is getting a bit too low, so they're asking for a bit of help. So I'll go through a bit of a preamble they've put up on their statement, and I'll read that out for everyone to sort of get involved in. And while we're doing this part here, hit the link, check it out. Also, alternatively, give us your thoughts, your memories, what the Bendigo Hotel means to you in the comments. So get involved. Let's talk this up. Let's I think anyone that follows us knows how big of a part of the Melbourne music scene the Bendigo Hotel is. So, get in the comments. Let us know the favourite show you've seen there, what the venue means to you, anything and everything you can think of, just to share some memories of this joint while we get this conversation going. So they're looking to raise $150,000 to cover things probably for the next 6 months, I think it is. They're just over $28,500 at the moment, so obviously there's a fair way to go. But this is the statement for why they're doing it and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to read this out, and hopefully not everyone falls asleep while I'm doing so. All right. So the Bendigo Hotel isn't just a pub, it's our home for music, and it has provided thousands of bands and punters a place to celebrate the live music that we love for over a decade. We need your help to keep the Bendy open for live music. The music industry is drowning in the despair and debt of all these lockdowns. It is utterly devastating that the Bendy has been put to the brink of closure multiple times. We all thought we had overcome the worst of it in 2020. Unfortunately, we were wrong. We've had to endure multiple lockdowns, forced to trade at reduced capacity, and then had to cancel multiple shows and tours. Up until this point, we've done our best to brave this storm and haven't once stopped fighting to keep the venue open. The passion is there, but the well is dry. The bills have run up too high, and there's nothing left to keep us afloat without your help. The light at the end of the tunnel is fading, and we can see no way through this without reaching out through a GoFundMe campaign. We want to save the Bendy. We want to see her thrive again. We need those people who love the Bendy and love live music to pitch in and help save this legendary institution. The money will help us renew the next term of our lease and cover the basic ongoing operating costs that keep adding up, whether or not we are open, including rates, rent, insurance, and utilities. These expenses do not stop. Whether we are open or closed, this is the killer. Running a venue during a pandemic is truly frightening, and every step forward is almost immediately countered with 2 steps back as the country swings in and out of lockdowns with next to no warning. We know times are tough for everyone, but we also know you love the place. Before throwing in the towel, we thought we should humbly ask for some help, as we all need our beloved venues to go on when we get to the other side of these lockdowns. Any amount of money is greatly appreciated. Every little bit will help. If you're unable to donate at this time, there are other ways you can help at the venue, like sharing this GoFundMe link and letting the world know we need help. We are proud of what the Bendigo Hotel has achieved over the past 11 years. We want to keep live music alive in Melbourne and support up-and-coming and established bands, as well as look after legends that frequent our venue. We aren't ready to give up, and we don't want to see the building get gutted and become an apartment block, like so many other cherished music venues across Melbourne. We want to get through this pandemic and help get the music industry back to thriving pre-COVID times. We know you love this place just as much as we do, and with the support of our community, we believe we can together work towards a future that will see the Bendy host thousands of more bands and punters for decades to come. Thanks from all the crew, past and present, and hopefully future. So yes, there we go. There's a lot of thoughts in this, but while we keep the comments coming, we've got a couple coming through. But Dave, what are your memories of the Bendy? It's not gone yet, obviously, but we haven't been able to go there for a while. So what do you think? What's the venue mean to you?
Oh, it's just been one of the main sources of hard rock, heavy metal. If those are the types of music that you like to follow, and obviously you do because you're watching us. There's always been countless bands to discover, great nights there, easy to get to. Legions of Steel was there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. First couple of them, I think.
Yeah. So it's very close to what we've done in the past or what Dennis has done associated with the show. But if they wouldn't be requesting and asking people if they weren't in dire straits, I don't think so. If you can help them out with in any way possible, it'd be certainly appreciated, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think knowing, I don't know them all well, but Guy and the team at the Bendy, they're really good people. They've been great help to a lot of people. They've helped us in the past. They've let us do whatever we wanted when it comes to filming and interviewing and doing other stuff in the venue as well. They've helped out with like the bushfire relief gig. They put that up and got involved in the promotion and interview side of things as well. So there's a lot, they're very community minded, the people that are involved in this site. So I would love to see it continue. They've always been good to us. They've been so good to so many people over the years. The bands I've seen there, there's so many of them. And they're one of those ones that are capable of hosting an international tour as well. So we've had international bands play there, and they're one of those ones. I mean, we keep losing the different size venues, and whilst it's not the world's biggest joint, there's a capacity for a couple of hundred in there. So it's one of those ones that's a good sort of mid-sized venue that when it gets packed out, it goes off. And they've done pretty well so far. They haven't, put the cap out to get people donating up till this point. So they've ridden it pretty well for nearly 2 years now as we start moving through this thing. But I'd like to see them get a bit of a chop out. So we'll keep sharing, and I'll clip this and put it out there as well. But hopefully we can get more from this in general. It would be nice to see federal and state governments, where possible, step up and help all the venues, because the arts, as well as the university sectors, for those following along, have been amazingly, cruelly overlooked when it comes to funding allocation and support when it's in the midst of this pandemic. So, and I don't know, I would just like to see more done in that regard, if at all possible. It'd be lovely to see a bit more support thrown to the venues in particular. And it's not just, rock and roll bars, it's all bars, all venues, all the theaters, they're all suffering as well. So anything to do with live entertainment is struggling. Comedy festivals can't go ahead. Nothing is happening. I mean, we're sitting here, we've already had the antennas postponed a couple of times, and it's supposed to be going ahead in mid-September, and sort of looking at it now going, don't know about this. If things don't settle down in the next 2 weeks, I don't think they could be confident in keeping the booking for that. So, it's all adding up. So please, if you can, give them a bit of help. Like they were saying, even if you're unable to pitch in financially, share it around, get people involved in this. Let's get the word out there as far and wide as we can, because if everyone that's following these things just chips in sort of $10 a pop, it'll make a huge difference to these guys. So hopefully we can all just sort of do a bit for them to help out a venue that's helped out so many people along the way, including us here at the show. Been very, very good to us over the years too. So please do. I got some comments coming through, so make sure you keep the comments coming if you're tuning in. David on Twitter via Periscope has gone earlier today on Twitter. Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young called for funding for live entertainment. Yes, completely agree with that. Hopefully had a good show today, mate. But I would love to. I'm thinking about it. I keep out of us two. I'm the one politically involved than you and I, out of you and I. But I would like to try and get the attention of some of these people to go, hey, we need to get this sector funded as well, because it's been going on for far too long. They haven't had any help at all. So that'd be nice. But also Sally jumped in to say, it's nice outside. Forgot about you, but hey. So tuning in at last. But she's also said, I love the Bendy. Will definitely help them out. So many gigs there. Friends, exes, fun, and fights too. Good times. It is one of those venues that is fantastic to go to. And I've lost count of how many bands I've seen there. And I've got a heap of footage from that place as well. I interviewed Chainsaw Hookers there. We filmed a bunch of stuff at Legions of Steel in the past as well. We've done other interviews upstairs, downstairs, wherever. We've done heaps at that place. So, yeah, they're a really good venue, very accommodating, very helpful. That's a weird one, but all right. But, yeah, very, very helpful to everyone. Just sorry, I'm chuckling here because Ben's gone, Andrew's looking more and more like Chris Cornell. I don't say that personally, but all right. Okay, that's a new one. I've never had that in my life. All right. Let's have some fun. Okay, so please do. The link is there. I'm actually going to put that link in again into the comments. So please do check it out. It's there twice now. If you can't see it in the comments, check out the post description. It'll be in there for sure. Otherwise, we'll keep sharing the stuff around. But now it's on to our first review for the night, unless there's anything else you wanted to add, Dave, before we move on.
No, I'm good.
Good. All right. So first review for this evening. The reference track is going into the comments now, which is also in the description or the post wherever you're tuning in from. So where have we got here? So the link is for the Ugly Kings. That is the band. And the song is Strange, Strange Times. So that's your band and your reference track. So please do get involved with checking that out and give us your thoughts as we go along as well. All right, hang on. Sorry, another comment here just quickly before we do move on to the Bendigo Hotel stuff. Damien said, we were very lucky to have played there just before Lockdown 6 kicked in and the desperation was obvious upon entry. Great show, but not the same when they're limited to 100 people. And he's also followed up by saying, and yes, we've donated, which is awesome. Thank you for doing that. And yeah, there you go. So that's been noted then how desperate things were. So hopefully we can all get around them and show them a bit of love. But anyway, in the comments, in the description, the Ugly Kings, with Strange, Strange Times. That is your reference track for the review we're going to go through now, which is, funnily enough, the title of the album. So, the Ugly Kings, Strange, Strange Times, 10 tracks, 43 minutes, the second album the Australian band released August 2021 via Napalm Records. Produced by the band with Julian Schweitzer at Labracadabra Studios in Melbourne. 3 singles have been released, including Technodrone and The Devil Comes With a Smile. After plugging away for quite a few years now, we've had them on the show before. This is the band's major label debut, so congratulations to them for landing this one. Dave, how did you go?
Oh, this is fantastic. I can remember the first time I heard this band, and about 6 years ago, I was at Cherry Bar, didn't know who they were. Went there to see Massive, and Ugly Kings were on beforehand. And I'm at the bar getting a drink, and they just start this. You hear this voice just boom out, down Cherry Bar. It's like, holy shit, what is this? So I just made my way all the way down to the front, and just 50 minutes of fucking great, hard, riff-driven blues rock. And they're a fucking great band. And they're just a band that just grabs your attention whenever they're playing, whether you're listening to them on home recording, like an album, or in live setting. But I think this could actually be the best I've ever heard from the band so far.
Nice.
And considering they've always put out great music, that's certainly saying something. But they've just got energy, storytelling, great guitar tone, thunderous drums. There's such a great sound to this band. And there's a bit of a Sabbath influence going on, and maybe even some Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, if you're into some of that. But ultimately, they've got their own thing going. They've taken what they do and they've just made it the best they can. Great dynamics in the songwriting, and whether it's just a slow build or a sudden change, they just add texture to the drama or the storytelling. And I really like the use of space in the composition of their songs. There can be a quiet moment and then boom, or it's just quiet and then some vocals. And just they don't just have to play all the time. It's great. It's almost like old school blues storytelling, but there's also a degree of menace to the lyrics. It's got kind of like that old Robert Johnson "Sold My Soul at the Crossroads." Completely acoustic blues with Robert Johnson, but this is all full band. But it's got that slight menace of you don't know where I'm coming from, but I got something, and you're going to listen to me whether you want it or not. And I fucking love that. That's best shown in The Devil Comes With a Smile, and I think that whole topic of that is what put me into that frame of mind. Very nice use of the acoustic guitar towards the end of Do You Feel Like You're Paranoid? that song, as soon as I heard it, it's like, this is fucking great. And then they quieten it down a little bit towards the end. And it's just that little extra thing that they add to the song. It brings it to a whole new layer. It just makes it stand out. Love it. Everything is captured really well on this, and considering how it's a 4-piece band, but everyone just has this massive energy, and it's all just been blended together, and it's fantastic. It's an album you can just listen to over and over again. It's
so easy.
Yeah, it's fucking great. We reviewed the Vintage Caravan earlier this year. I reckon if they came over to tour Australia, Ugly Kings would be a great double with this band. It'd be a great night. But
actually,
I gave it 9 out of 10. I thought it was fucking great. Do you feel like you're paranoid? In the Shadows, Electric Lady, My Kryptonite in brackets, and The Devil Comes with a Smile were my standouts. But I could have picked anything, but these are the songs that just really grabbed my attention that I enjoyed.
This is so easy to take in, this one. It's remarkably well done. They've got they've always been a sort of moody, more aggressive kind of a blues band, but they've added a bit of a stone rock kind of vibe. So there's a little bit of a Queens of the Stone Age kind of flavor kicking into on this one. So it's not a huge departure at all. It's just there's a little bit more flavor to what they were doing before. I think the riffs and the mood on this are fantastic. Along with the smoky vocal, it all just works perfectly well together. And if anything, this might be a little bit more up-tempo than previous releases, because you and I have listened to a lot of their stuff, and I find this one to be a little more up-tempo, which I think works. There's more intensity in the rhythm, and it's a nice sort of switching gear. Nothing huge, but if you've been following the band for a while, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But if you haven't been, it's going to be very, very easy for you to take in very, very quickly. One thing that never fades out with this band in any context is the lyrical work. They just tell some great stories. The meaning of them go a bit deeper than a lot of other ones as well. But it's not in your face blunt. There's just some subtlety to it. You're allowed to take away your own interpretation of things, but there's just enough sort of done with a wink and a smile and a bit of a darkness, and that menace you're referencing is in there as well. The storytelling is really, really well done. But like you were saying as well, the mix is fucking fantastic on this. This sounds brilliant. It's really warm, heaps of space, but it just sucks you in. It's got that thing where one of the tricks you do in production is, or when you're live or whatever else, if you want to get the audience to go quiet and pay attention to you, actually sort of whisper or talk quietly into the microphone. So they've done that where it's that seductive quality of using the way it's been mixed to suck you in, and it just wraps around you when you're listening to it. It sounds fantastic. The tones are great. The clarity, how even the mix is, it's like I said, so easy to take in, and there's great push and pull with the dynamics on this one as well. But they also switch things up, like you mentioned, the guitar and the atmospheric a bit with Do You Feel Like You're Paranoid? That's a really nice touch on this one. I think that worked really, really well on this. And this one, along with it being a bit more up-tempo, also feels a little bit more mature than the previous one as well. Not that they were ever immature in any way, shape, or form, but it just feels like they're growing and evolving and moving along at a natural pace for these guys, and everything is organic and just feels right. You could listen from start to finish from their career or just this album, and everything just flows with these guys. It's so well done. I think the track order is great. Between that and the composition of the individual songs, this thing flies by. It's such a smooth listen. That's why it's so easy to repeat spin as well. And when the lead guitar work does come in, so Christos is a really good guitarist, but he does a lot more rhythm than lead on this one. But when the lead does come in, it's really, really tasty and really adds something to these songs too. And because it's not overdone, it stands out when it does kick through. I think that this is 4 guys coming together, bringing their own strengths to the environment and really just creating some beautiful work on this one. And all the performances are complementary as well. Nothing is trying to outdo anything else. Everything is so complementary, and that's one of the standout elements of this band. If you see them live, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because they are fantastic in that setting as well, just for the same reason. I thought there's a bit of subtlety in this one. It's a bit of a builder. Once this one hooks you, it's not letting go anytime soon at all. And I've got to give a bit of a nod to the last couple of tracks that close this album out. The Madness and the Story to Mr. Hyde, but then that's followed by Another Fucking Day, which is like the anthem for anyone that has to grind out the day job right now. So that is really, really well done. Like I said, there's always a bit of a wink and a smile with these guys, but there's a lot of darkness in there too. I mean, the last album was Darkness Is My Home, and that was fantastic as well. And it's funny to note that both of their albums have been released on Friday the 13th. So...
Oh, cool.
I want to interview them and ask them what the fuck that's about. But that's very, very cool. But anyway, this is a really cool album. I do encourage you to check out these guys while you can. If you get a chance to see them before they end up overseas, because they're with a good record label now, go and do it while you can, because these guys are not long for doing the little things anymore. I don't think this is one's going to be one that propel them a lot higher than they already are. So 9 out of 10 from me. Another fucking day, strange, strange times, and the devil comes with a smile. So those are my standouts on this one. Please do check that out and give us your thoughts. David James has jumped in to say, boys. So hello, David. Thank you for joining us once again on Facebook. Good to see you here. All right. Next one is a little band called Blacktop Mojo. So your reference track is going into the comments now, or it's also in the links wherever you're tuning into this one from, or the description. This is Blacktop Mojo with Wicked Woman. That is your band and reference track for you to check out with this next one that we're talking about. David's gone, love your work. Thank you for the kind words. Love having you here. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's show. All right. So like I was saying, Blacktop Mojo is the band. Reference track is Wicked Woman, sorry. So Blacktop Mojo, Wicked Woman, that's your reference track. Check it out and give us your thoughts as we go along. If you're a fan of this band or any of the bands we're talking about tonight, feel free to give us any thoughts you got as we go along. But anyway, next review is Blacktop Mojo with their self-titled album. 12 tracks, 47 minutes. The fourth studio album from the American band, released August 2021 via Sandhill Records. Produced by Phil Mosley in Texas. 2 singles been released in Taillights and Wicked Woman. This isn't a band we've really given a lot of time to on the show, and this was really highly recommended by a few people in the THRS Lounge, our Facebook group. So we figured we'd go and give this one a spin, and I think that we're probably going to like this one as well. Dave, how did you go?
Yeah, this is pretty good. I don't know this band at all. I haven't heard the name, but this is album number 4, I think, after doing some research. And I can't really think of another band to compare them to. They've got the style's pretty much based on the whole classic rock idea, but because they're not using like excessive effects or odd tuning, so they're basically just classic rock songwriting. They're not an all-out hard rock band, though. They're more towards the mellow side in a lot of ways, but that's not to say they're not a rock band. So it's very interesting what they're doing. The album starts off with 2 upbeat rockers, and then it kind of kicks back a few for the remainder. And a lot of their songs have the quiet verse and then the rocker verse, rocker chorus. Or they just build up slowly. So it's all to do with dramatic songwriting and storytelling. And I think when they rock, it's because that's what the song demands. And when it's soft, it's what to draw you in and get you familiar with what's going to happen. So it's very, very good songwriting. The singer's got a very good voice, and he gets these stories across really nicely. It's just really good to listen to. And the fucking guitar solos, definitely from the school of classic rock there. I don't know what equipment they're using, but I reckon it's a Gibson for a Marshall. It's just got that.
It's got that feel.
It's got that feel. It's got that old school, hey, I'm a guitarist, I'm going to do a solo, I'm going to get right in your face. I got that rock and roll outlaw swagger, which is always cool. They got a bit of humor to them as well. There's a song called Bed Tundy. I'm looking at it just like, that has to be Ted Bundy. That has to be a play on word. Thought that was cool. And I read their bio after giving the album a few listens. I'm just like, yeah, this is cool, something different. Read their bio on Spotify and found that they covered Dream On. And that's not only one of my favorite Aerosmith songs, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. Just like, okay, impress me, because the standard's pretty fucking high with that song if you got the balls to play that. Gave it a listen, and I have to say they did a fucking good job with it.
They did.
So if you can pull that song off and do it to that quality, I'm certainly going to be keeping an eye on this band. Because they didn't just perform it, they made it their own, but they didn't desecrate the song. And they still hit those peaks when it has to.
Yeah,
and the important thing is they can certainly write their own material with this album that we reviewed. So I have to go back and give their previous albums a few listens. But this was really good starting point. And I think it could be the one that puts them to that next level where people are going to really start paying attention. But they're well worth checking out.
There's a lot on here that's really easy for radio to take in as well.
Yeah, I reckon. Definitely a great gateway for a lot of people that want to check out rock bands. 8 out of 10. Wicked Woman, Bed Tundy, Latex, Jealousy, and Hold Me Down were my standouts. Okay,
cool. This is one of those bands where if you're randomly searching along and you find the hard rock show and the idea of what we are, just without knowing us, if that is the sort of thing that gets your attention, this is a band that's probably going to be one that you're going to enjoy. This is one of those ones that's that marriage. If you're following something like us, you're probably going to like this album. This is right from the beginning, like you were saying, the opening tracks on this one, riff-driven, has plenty of attitude, but the melody to match it is fantastic, and the way they use the melody is beautiful. That's really, really balanced out nicely by the softer ballad touches. So that along with the riffs is just this real balancing act across this record. Like you were saying, with what the song needs is what the song gets. So it either builds or it kicks over in different gears and whatever else have you. So it's really, really well composed, performed, all those sort of things. And it's all built around sort of intensity when required and melody when it's not required. And there's heaps of space to go around that as well. I think that the production is really warm. There's a lot of gloss on this one, but they haven't lost any punch by giving it that gloss too. So it's really polished. It sounds fantastic, but it still gives a nice little kick to it when it needs it as well, which is really nice. You can hear absolutely everything. Great tones across this one, and if anything, it's actually a little bit hot. So the compressor's working just a touch too much, but at the same time, it's not a bad thing because it gives it more of that vintage feel to it as well. So it gives you that sort of throwback element to things. It makes it that sizzle kind of thing in the sound. So that classic rock is not only in sort of the way things are composed and performed, but it's also in the way it's mixed a bit too. So it's very glossy like today's stuff, but the old school roots still present in that aspect too, which is really, really nicely done. I think harmonies on this one are a fantastic addition and work for these guys. It's like what they've done there is that's a standout element for me on this listen. All the vocals are great, but the lyrics combined with the vocals and the harmonies just really make these songs jump out. Beautifully done. I think there's on Make Believe, there's a nice little haunting acoustic piece with that one. And that's dead in the middle of the album, which is like where you'd flip from side A to side B, which is, the typical, old school classic form again. And that serves as a nice little lead into Darling I Won't Tell as well. So there's some nice, like the overall album craft again throws back. So this is really one of those albums where you're getting a lot of your classic rock kind of influences, but they've really brought it right up into today. And it's not aged or dated. It sounds really fresh, really vibrant, really current. So if you like any rock at all, hard rock, just rock and roll, you're going to really find something. This is one of those ones that for all comers, anyone and everyone can find something in this record. No matter how heavy you want it or how light you want it, you'll find what you want in this one. They've got some, like I was saying, the balance between the grunt and the softer stuff is nice, but the impact is on every song. So like you were saying and we said before, like they either build things up or it peaks and drops off as the songs cry. There's always a lot of impact with every single song. And even the slowest ones on you have this impactful build. So the songcraft is beautiful. The darkness is nicely woven into this one too. And I reckon these guys on a show with Ragdoll be fucking one hell of a night. If they did a gig with Ragdoll, that'd be a great fit for me. Basically, if you like riffs, solos, chunky stuff like that, this is really cool. Anything like what we cover on this show, this one you got to check out. This one has a habit of staying with you a bit more than you think as well. You'll walk away from this one after a spin or two and you go, hang on, let me go back into this one because there's a lot more to it than you really think on the first pass. It's one of those ones that's really, it's a sneaky sort of a grower. It makes you want to come back and listen to it again, which is a really cool trick. Very well done. I think the singles on this one are the easy access points. You can see why they've been chosen, but at the same time, there's a lot of deep cuts on this record that are really, really good too. So this is a fucking solid record. Well worth your time. Give it a spin. 8.5 out of 10 from me. Wicked Woman, Do It for the Money, and Rewind were my standouts on this one. Getting some comments coming through, which is cool. All right, what do we got here? So Sally jumped in saying, love them, feel good sound. Jamie's voice is killer. They do very cool covers. I'm the air tonight and change off a Fleetwood Mac. Okay, the Fleetwood Mac one would be cool. I'd have to check that one out. With that vocal, that would work really nicely. So that's cool. John's jumped in. Hi, John. He's gone, great stuff, guys. Nice way to chill out on a Sunday evening. So thank you for spending some time with us. Hopefully you're enjoying it. David said, smoke him if you got him. And that's kind of what this record's all about, actually. It's one of those things there. And Benjamin has jumped in Facebook and YouTube to say, hey, Andrew and Dave. So thank you for joining us. Good to see you here with us again. Wonderful to have a lot of company here tonight. So please stick with us and give us your thoughts as we go along. And even if you're tuning in later on, we do appreciate you tuning in, even if you're not tuning in live. So feel free to give us your thoughts, your comments, your feedback, even if you're not here with us in the moment. We like reading them later on, so please do get involved. Anyway, I've got to create a graphic for this stuff. Oh, sorry. Sally's corrected with In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. Okay, that would be interesting. That drum fill with these guys, that would be cool. I reckon that I've got to check out that stuff. Okay, I have to go and find that one. That'll be good to check out as well. But like I was saying, I have to do a graphic for this. I have to cut one together, which is like for the main event of the evening, because here we go. Time to go to that now. So our main event for tonight is Sepultura. So the reference track is Mask featuring Devin Townsend. That's your reference track. It's on. There's a link there for it. Check it out on YouTube. So Sepultura with Mask featuring Devin Townsend. That's what you're looking for to give yourself a taste of what this album is really all about. So without any further ado, this is our main event of the evening. This is Sepultura with Sepulquarter. 15 tracks for 61 minutes. This special collaboration album was released August 2021 by Nuclear Blast. Mixed and mastered by Conrado Ruther. This compilation comes about after the band weren't able to tour their last album, which was released in 2019 or 20. So instead of doing nothing at all, they did these as a sort of a podcast thing, doing them on YouTube and things like that as well. So it's a mix of covers of Sepultura stuff and other bands as well. They've got heaps of guest spots on this one, including but not limited to David Ellefson, Scott Ian, Danko Jones, Devin Townsend, Matthew Heafy, Phil Campbell, and so many more. It's insane. There's a guest spot and a different one on every single track. Some of them have multiple guests on it too. So there's a lot of people involved in this project, and you can watch a lot of this stuff on YouTube as well. So Dave, how did you go?
Yeah, I haven't heard a single thing from Sepultura since Max left.
Oh, wow. Really?
Well over 20 years ago. Because, yeah, I was about 16 when Roots came out, and I fucking loved that album. I played it to death. And then, Max is leaving? Fucking hell. Every time I get into a band, somebody leaves or somebody dies or follow us cursed for a while. It's becoming like a string. But I'm not even sure who's in this band anymore, because I know Eagles left as well, so I think they're pretty different to what they used to be. But I knew nothing about this going in, so when I saw the track list, I was like, hang on, I know some of these songs. But did a bit of research, and as you said, they're like live with guest performances on YouTube during lockdown, which is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, well done.
In visual, because listening to this with audio, it's really hard to kind of spot what the guests are contributing. Yeah, I couldn't really. Scott Ian's contribution, like they're playing the songs pretty faithfully to the original, so I didn't get Scott Ian's style in that.
Same with David Ellefson. I know that Benjamin Payne here, made a joking comment about David Ellefson. I think there's, a lot of jokes to be had about it, but you can't tell. You just can't tell that he played on it.
That's the thing. And it's cool when you check out some YouTube clips of this, like, oh, cool, they're jamming with Sepultura. But if they put their own personal stamp on it, it wouldn't be the same song. And I don't know, it's cool in visual, but in audio world, it just doesn't get the same effect, I think.
Yeah.
But what I did get from this is I've just overlooked Derek Green as a vocalist for a very, very long time. I was pissed when Max left, but the guy's got a fucking great, powerful voice, and he's a good replacement for Max. I mean, probably not the replacement anymore. He's been with the band longer. So what people have done with Halloween, I've pretty much done with Sepultura. So I'm going to have to unfuck that, because, the songs I'm unfamiliar on this were definitely worth checking out. So I'm going to have to spend some time getting up to date with this band. So it was cool to hear some fresh material that I haven't heard originally on here, but it was also fun hearing songs I'm familiar with. Yeah. One of probably the most standout for me was Ratamahata, because that was always a big standout point on Roots. And that on this one they got that cool drum solo in the middle, and that's always been a cool song. I was listening to it out the back earlier today. Jay comes over and she's like, "What's this song?" Because it seems to like drums. Like, I like these drums. Write that in your review, Daddy. Tell them the drums are cool. All right, I have to put that in. Cool. Drums are cool.
I think that song too also shows that Derek on the vocals for those old songs from Max's era, they do work well with him too.
He does do them pretty well. But I was going to point out some of the vocals on different songs are really low. They're kind of drowned out by the music.
Orgasmatron was one.
Yeah, Orgasmatron was another one. I got that actually written here. But yeah, Ratamahata as well at the start. It gets better towards the end. I'm not really sure why, because I checked out some of these on the YouTube version and they're not that bad. They actually sound better on YouTube than what we're getting on Spotify. So I'm not sure the reason behind that. It's kind of a letdown with that. But apart from all, this is pretty cool. It was cool that they got Phil Campbell in for Orgasmatron. That was a cool little nod, because it is an old school Motorhead song. But overall, it's a very interesting project. And like I said, I'm going to have to check out the 20-year gap that I've ignored this band, because I get it now, because my reference to Halloween, how people ignored the Perez era. Because I've been like the person hitting my head up against the wall saying, "Listen to it, it's good."
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worth giving it the time of day. I gave it 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Cutthroat, Slave New World, Ratamahata, and Orgasmatron were my standouts.
All right, cool. I haven't watched a lot of the YouTube stuff. So just listening to it from a record perspective, all in all, I mean, there are some pitfalls to it, but it's pretty well put together. And this is not the sort of thing that's easy to do either. You've got a lot of people in a lot of different places. Putting it all together, this sort of stuff is always challenging. So for what they've put together here, this is very, very well done, actually. It is a very cohesive listen from top to bottom. It doesn't feel like an album that's been done with guests from all over the world in different places. This actually feels really, really cohesive. So credits were due for that, because this is not easy. So well done. It sounds consistent. The performances are solid. Excuse me. No one has phoned anything in, literally or not. It's all, everyone's giving what they've got for these songs. Like I was saying, for something that was predominantly used as YouTube live clips, this doesn't sound like that when you listen to it the way it's done. Now, the casual listen for this one, if you just put it on the air in your headphones and you sort of listen in the background while you're doing something else, that's not the best way to listen to this one. I don't think. You got to actually sit down and pay attention to this, because on the casual listen, you're not going to hear the impact of the guest performances as much, or you might completely miss it, than you do compared to when you're listening to it on a deep listen with either good speakers or good headphones or whatever else when you sit down with this album. It's pretty intense overall. It's worth giving your full attention to, though. It's aggressive, which is what you want from this band if you're a fan. And if you are a fan, this should make you pretty bloody happy, because this is all pretty well done. If you're not a fan, it's not going to do anything for you at all to change your mind. It's not one of those things where the guest spots will give you a gateway to check out more of their stuff. It's just not one of those releases. It's for the fans. And I think that's cool, especially in light of everything going on at the moment. So this is only for themselves, for their fan base. And that's all it's meant to do. And it does a very good job of that sort of stuff. There were, however, some really interesting different touches on this one that I do want to point out that did stand out to me when it came to it all. The use of female vocals on a couple of tracks here, that was really nicely done. And they added a bit of a haunting atmosphere to the tracks. I think there's 2 tracks with them on there. And they really did bring something very different to what was happening on this record and helped to give you some album dynamics in this one as well. And those harmonies that they brought were fucking fantastic. There is some of the guitar work as well, from, for example, Devin Townsend and others, is blistering on this one. We mentioned Orgasmatron before. I would have thought I would have enjoyed that one a bit more, being a huge Motorhead fan, but it wasn't bad, but what I noticed was that the vocal was way down, but the guitar tone from Phil Campbell was immediately recognizable. So that guitar tone was like, okay, that was cool to me, hearing that guitar tone with, this sort of style going on. It was very, very cool. I thought that Danko Jones, when he got in there, he sort of added a bit different flavor too, because he rocked it up. It wasn't as much of a metal. It was a cross between the metal and the rock that the two bands individually do. They actually blended together pretty nicely. And so hearing Danko Jones's vocal, he's giving it a bit, but he's never going to be able to go as harsh as Derek Green is. So, it was a good, point and counterpoint between the two vocalists and between the styles of the riffing and that. It was a very, very cool little thing there. So when they actually had the guests bring their flavors to things, same thing with Devin Townsend. It's the same thing with that. When they're doing that sort of stuff, when they bring in their individual flavors, the songs actually stand out more. When they're just sort of pushed back and they sort of blend in too much, they're just like a live jam kind of thing, which is not a bad thing. It's all well done, but they don't do enough to jump out at you. What else have I got here? There's a nice little instrumental track on this, the second last track. I mean, that was a good way to sort of start wrapping things up before the Motorhead cover. But like I was saying, this is one more for the fans than anything else. But we've done 2 of these albums this year, and the other one wasn't nearly as good as them. This was much more solid and much more cohesive overall, and much more interesting and engaging to listen to. This is, out of these styles of albums, this is the second one, and this is the better of the 2 by a fair stretch. Like I said, give this one a deep listen, and that way the letdown of not noticing the guest spots isn't as prevalent as it is on a casual listen. Don't listen to this one casually. You won't get the full impact that it's required. It's not going to be one of those ones you'll repeat spin over and over again, but if you're going to pay attention to this one, sit down with it and take it in, because it is worth the effort to do so. I think it's pretty good overall, and especially when it's basically formed out of a podcast, it's a pretty fucking good effort overall. It's just not the most riveting release out there involved, but it is very, very, very well done. And if you're a fan, definitely check this out. So 7.5 out of 10 from me. I picked Mask, Sepul Nation, and Hatred Inside, which are one of those ones where the guests really brought something to those songs for mine on this. All right, we got a here we go. John said, I can vouch. It's challenging recording remotely. Did it with Darren Phillips' album and others. Yes, so it's not easy, this sort of stuff. So, and for the record, the Darren Phillips one, you did a pretty good job with that one too, mate. For what that was a challenge as well. So well done to that. Yeah, not easy to do it. When it's done this sort of style, it's really, really challenging. So, yeah, well done to anyone that tries it, because it's going to become more of a thing, I think, not less. It's now that everyone's sort of gotten used to this idea of having your own home studio set up and sending the stems into each other, it's going to become more and more of a thing. So producers are going to get to earn their money in a different way in the future. But yeah, that was cool. Benjamin, just going back to David Ellison, said, great bassist, needs a bit of work on the PR, which is not really a surprise at this point in time, just to lighten things up there.
I prefer the way Iron Maiden hyped their new album than the way David Ellison hyped the new Megadeth album.
Yeah, I think there's a fair, how do you put it? Yeah, that just makes sense. I think if you're going to do it, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. And Iron Maiden, I think, of probably... There's clever. A conversation in this for a different time, but yeah, Iron Maiden have probably been one of the most well thought out promotional cycles we've had for quite some time. They've almost built it up like a wrestling work for a main event for a pay-per-view 3 months away kind of thing. They've really done a very good job. But anyway, that'll be a different touch on. That'll be a different conversation for a different time. John's also said, fucking hell. Benjamin's making trouble. But thanks, Andrew. It is. We've done our new album stages. Yeah, that's one of those things, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be happening more and more. So anyone that's able to do it in any way, shape, or form, credit to you. It's not hard, not easy at all. And Benjamin goes, hey, made a real splash. Well, that's one way to put it. Benjamin, you're here causing trouble like you are every time, but we love it. Thank you for joining us. It's a hell of a lot of fun. All right, we are getting toward the end of proceedings, though, so please make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual things that everyone gets you to do. Our details are in the description of this or the post or wherever you're tuning in from. And if you're tuning in later on, not live with us here, then we do appreciate you tuning in. Give us your thoughts, your comments at any point, and we'll check them out as soon as we can as well. We love seeing them, even if you're not here live with us in the conversation. Our next stream will be on Thursday. We're going to be doing Quicksand, Tomahawk, and a classic from Stone Sour for that one. So that playlist, the THRS current listing playlist on Spotify has been updated to represent that. Please do check it out. What else have we got here to get through? Please check out our sponsors in Squidding, Shrimping, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. A big thank you to them. Their details, just like ours, are in the description or the post wherever you're tuning in from. Their links, so find them, give them a follow, show them some love for the help they give us here at the show. We do greatly appreciate it. And like anyone else at the moment, nothing is easy for anyone. So even just a follow or a share on social is a great way to help out these businesses in this current time. What else? Our next special episode at the end of August will be to do with 10 years, the last decade of hard rock and metal, to do with celebrating 10 years of the Hard Rock Show in its as an entity, and also other things as well. So there'll be a big special coming toward the end of the month online, but there'll be the TV version as well. And we're doing a whole lot of polling at the moment, so keep up to date with our social media and get involved in the polling. It's going to be coming through. Another poll coming tomorrow to sort of round things out for a last chance saloon kind of round for a few albums there. And don't forget, check us out on television. 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne, and 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights on Channel 44 in Adelaide. Community television has just launched a new platform as well, CTV Plus. So go and check that out online. There's an app coming for that, I think early 2022, for both iOS and Google Play and all that sort of stuff too. So there's a lot coming on. What else have we got here? I think that's it. We'll get to a bin in a second. What have we got here? Sally's gone, yay, Stone Sour. So we got some fans for Stone Sour. That'll be cool too. What have we got here? So back to live entertainment from David. Maybe we should campaign the same way we did with community television. That'd be a lot there as well. I don't know if we're able to get back to doing gigs in venues until things like ventilation is sorted out. And there's a whole lot of costs associated with that. There's a lot more to this, and I'm going to even try and enter into it. It's not my area of expertise at all. But yeah, hopefully we can try and get the venues some support. Maybe we should do a campaign like that, David. That's not a bad idea at all. And John has also said, congrats and good luck for the antenna. So thank you very much for the kind words there. We will see what happens with that. Benjamin, in the comments, anyone wants to jump in this? Anyone a fan of Spine Shank? They're an interesting band, those guys. Have you checked out much of their stuff, Dave?
No, I don't know them.
I haven't checked out a lot. They're one of those bands that I know of more than I know deeply. I've checked out a few of their stuff. It's interesting. It's pretty cool. But yeah, definitely worth checking out if you want something a bit heavier, I think, from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, Benjamin. I'm sure you will anyway. But But yeah, they're not bad, those guys. All right. I think that's it. We're done. We get to do a bin now. So, all right, let's get to the fun part. This is the part we all enjoy. We get things off our chest collectively. So, Dave, what have you got for the bin this week?
Yeah, negativity. It's just so easy to sink down a fucking wormhole of just feeling crap and hating everything and just blaming everyone. So turn off social media, spend some time with your family, do things you enjoy, and you're not going to change it just by entering into a massive debate and feeling bad. So just try and think positive. There's nothing else you can do, and it's always another day. Grass is always greener. Sun always comes up eventually. Summer's coming. Fun time of the year. So,
Halloween's coming too.
Yeah, exactly. So just stay positive and negativity in the bin.
Yep. Good point. Yeah, doom scrolling. If you find yourself doom scrolling where you sit there just scrolling and then you look through, 10 minutes later you pick it up and scroll through again, stop it. Just put it down and go and do something else. That's the best way you can get your head out of this mess. And I do it constantly. I check in only when I need to, not any more than that. And that's for doing all this stuff. I only check in when I have to. My bin is much more mundane. It's Monday-itis, that whole feeling where it's Sunday night and you got to get up the next day and it's the start of another working week. I don't mind my job. It's actually a pretty good job, so I'm happy with it. But just that whole feeling of, okay, because I enjoy my weekends and what I do here a lot more than the day job. So that whole feeling of, fuck, now it's Monday and you got to go through it all again. Like I said, I'm not complaining. I've got nothing to complain about. I like the job and the place is good. The people are good. All those things are there. But it's just one of those things where it's like, here we go again. So Monday-itis in there just for something petty this week, just to get back to a bit of normality there. Oh God, Benjamin. Okay. All right. Going back to Spine Shank, he's gone. Yeah, they're worth a shot. So okay, cool. Dave, when you were saying your bin before, John Power said 100%, and Sally agreed with you as well. So good to get some feedback for you there. But the reason why I'm laughing is Benjamin goes, Wayne Static's hair in the bin, please. So, yep. Okay, cool. There we go. All right. But I think that about wraps us up for tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we get out of here, Dave?
No, I'm good.
You're good? All right. Well, thank you, all of you, for tuning in. Make sure you join us again on Thursday night. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care otherwise. But until next time, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
As always,
drink up.
Rock on.